I do think overall as a football team we were better in this game than we were the last game, which is important. I need to improve each game, but we certainly have a long ways to go and got a lot of work ahead of us.
Mark, are you glad for the off week and an opportunity to go to work with the players?
You know, I don't know anymore with off weeks. You know, that question comes up. I don't know if off weeks are good or bad anymore. We've got a number of them this year the way the schedule falls, so we'll practice every day and try to get better and try to use it to our advantage.
Dax had 16 completions, 315 yards, almost 20 yards of completion, and I counted 11 deep balls down the sidelines or to deep receivers. Is this the new Oklahoma State offense, or did you have to rein him in a little bit?
Oh, I hope we're better than we are. You know, I think that we went through a little bit of a learning phase with him, and there's times that that he wasn't where we wanted him to be, but again, it's his, you know, he hadn't been doing it much, and he'll improve, but we have to take advantage of his ability to throw the ball down the field.
Did you guys settle him down a little bit after the first couple of possessions, or did he just kind of settle on his own?
He settled on his own. You know, the first, you would have liked to have, for him to have completed the first swing pass to Tyreek, and when he threw that one poor, that didn't help, but he settled himself down. He was fine.
Talk about the run game struggles. How much of that's that young offensive line? And I noticed there was pretty quick you guys started using Seaton and some other guys to maybe help out up there.
We just didn't block anybody. We didn't move anybody out of there. So I'm sure there's a contributing factor, which is the youth, but we're going to have to move people out of there if we're going to play in this league, because we're not going to be able just to protect and throw the ball down the field every game. We got to be better up front. We got to get guys squared up. We got to move them out there and allow the running backs to make a cut, not in our backfield. So we just have to get better each week. When you're bringing three guys along like that, you know, it's the first time they got 3 games under their belt, and there's some youth there. So we just have to bring them along, but we certainly have to improve.
Did you see also the value of Desmond Rowland, because he at least gives you a guy that can pound it up in there and really push the pile?
That's exactly right. And Tyreek gives us the flash, you know, and we never really could get him loose tonight. And then Rennie is a little bit in between, but against this team, Dez is able to smash it up in there and kind of move the pile. And so there's an advantage to what he brings to the table.
The first, I think, 5 drives of the second half, you guys had a little drive and then 4 straight 3-and-outs. Had 5 passes during those 5 drives. I think that's the number. Was that an effort to settle Dax down, the backing off of the passes, or?
Well, we were ahead by multiple scores, and so until they got in a position to where they could strike, with the youth that we have and the experience we have on offense right now, we're better off just trying to control the game instead of opening it up until we get a little more experienced.
I mean, you're pointing out areas in which you weren't as good as you want to be, and you still have over 500 yards. Does that kind of suggest you're close, or do you think you really do have a lot of work?
We have a lot of work. The way that they lined up, it doesn't have anything to do with them. I'm talking about us. We should have had 600 yards of offense, but we missed some opportunities for big plays, and we missed some blocks and things like that. And you guys have watched us forever. Our offense relies on the run and the throw both. We're very balanced, and if we're not effective in one area, then we have to manufacture a way to be effective in the other. And as well as our defense played, and we didn't square up in the blocking game. And we missed some deep throws. There were several of them that went right off the fingertips of our guys. We need to hit more of those throws. And then we got to square up guys up in the running game, which allows us to be a better passing team. I thought our schemes were good. And we just got to be better and kind of look at what we're doing and evaluate. And that's what you go through when you have some young guys. You have to find out what they do best.
What does it say to you that Garmin now has attempted 56 throws out here in 2 games that hasn't been picked yet?
Well, that's a good thing. And we'd like for him to make good decisions. And you know, when you go through the 4 series like John's talking about, like for me, you know, that's hard for me because 1, I'm an offensive guy, and 2, we've gone so many years here where everything just flows. But we're in a little different situation right now with a quarterback that doesn't have any experience and some linemen that don't have any experience. So taking care of the football is certainly very important when we're going through this growing stage.
Coach, you mentioned that you felt like your team did improve tonight from the performance a week ago. What ways did you feel like your team improved?
Well, I thought defensively we were much better. And I think they were at a little bit more of an attack phase. And this team is pretty good on offense. And we were containing and stopping the rush. And, when you hold a team to 2 yards per carry in the running game, it's a pretty good night.
Expected out of your defense coming into the season, Mike, but are they playing better than maybe you thought they could have?
I'm not sure yet, John. It'll be a month before I can tell you that. We had a number of players that were banged up a little bit, so we had to rotate some guys in and some young guys out there. We have a certain number of guys playing too many plays, in my opinion, and I'm hoping that doesn't catch up with us in the middle of October. You can get away with that now, but eventually, when you get into the middle of the season, the middle of the Big 12 run, if guys are playing 70 plays, see the other team had 64 plays, and for the most part, all the same guys played. Well, we hadn't been through that in 3 years here, so there'll be an adjustment there.
Did you prepare better this week?
Excuse me?
Did your team prepare better this week?
Yeah, we were better this week, sure.
Those deep throws were just off fingertips, just out of the reach. Is that receivers a little bit maybe trying to adjust to the big arm that Dax has, whereas previously, they're adjusting, they're going out on deep stuff for JW. Now they're going out and it's over their heads.
It shouldn't be. It could, but the balls were 4 to 5 inches overthrown. But on 3 of those, they got to dive with 2 hands, not one. They watch too much TV and they see these guys make one-handed catches. These guys are getting paid to do that. Our guys aren't getting paid. They get free food now, but they're not getting any money.
Any body language on Grogan's 47-yarder there at the end of the first half to kind of get it off?
What's funny, John, is I mentioned to the staff at halftime, there was a guy that was coaching here when I was playing named Bill Shimmick, been around for a long time, and he used to quote one time on a kicker there that, you have a good kicker when he uses all the goalposts. Well, he definitely used all the goalposts on that one. That's a pretty good kick. Was it 48? 47 is not a good kick. Well, see, and that's what I've been saying. There's been a lot of talk, and I said the difference this year with him is his ball last year would die off, and it's, when you're at 47 and you're halfway up the goalpost, so he's getting better. He still has room for improvement, but he's also kicking the ball better.
In the Florida State game and in the Missouri State game, both of those quarterbacks, got some deep balls on your secondary, and I know you said after the last game it was some missed assignments. So to come out tonight, and I think they had one pass of 20 yards or more, how important is that for the secondary to limit any deep balls?
They played better. Last week we gave up some deep throws with the freshmen playing, and these guys are a little more experienced. They did a better job. I don't think we had a holding or a pass interference call tonight. So they did a better job, and there's some speed on the wideout spot with these guys. I know we turned one guy loose, and they didn't make a good throw, but other than that, I thought we covered and did a pretty good job. Yeah.
Your defense played really well in the Florida State game and also in this game, and now you're entering Big 12 play. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's enough entering Big 12 play, the way that they're playing and how they're coming along, to be maybe more competitive in the Big 12 than what has been projected for Oklahoma State?
I wish I could answer that. It's kind of the same question John answered. I don't know. We'll know a lot more in about a month. It's really hard to tell. And I think one thing that's interesting, you guys obviously study this more than I do, but matchups are so important, and more so than ever. For example, you see a team that played really close to one team, and that team's 0-2, and then they go out next week and they play another team and they beat them by 4 touchdowns, and you would have thought they wouldn't even have won the game. And if you look at the scores at the end of the night, you're seeing some of that. So it's really hard to tell. A lot of it's based on matchup. The next game, you're going to play a team that's going to be a wide open attack, and so that'll be a little bit different than what we've seen, because Florida State wasn't really that way. Missouri State wasn't, and this team we played tonight was a little bit more tight end, fullback, wing. Tech will be a different look, I'm guessing, unless I can't imagine he's changing what he's doing. So it'll be interesting to see how we adjust and how our team competes against that style of play.
Mason Rudolph's week, exactly what a 2 would be for a backup quarterback, or was it accelerated some
It's the exact same.
And from this point through the Tech game, you'll get the same reps that a 2 would get, nothing beyond.
That's correct.
What do you got for JW? Is he out for the year? Hope
I
to
don't
have
know.
him back?
Last time I said that, he came back 4 weeks earlier than what he's supposed to. So I just know he's not going to be with us this week.
Anything else?
Mike, you really dominated the line of scrimmage on defense, 70-some yards, rushing yards allowed. How much of that is due to the depth you guys have and the ability to rotate guys around?
You know, we're up front, we rotate, but everywhere else we don't. Same guys playing. That was one thing I'd mentioned earlier. A concern of mine is how those guys are going to feel in a month, because we've had the luxury the last 3 years. We've played 2 defenses. Our defensive front, we rotate, but our backers are all playing, our corners are playing, our safeties rotate just a little bit. So I'm hoping that we can come up with a plan to keep those guys fresh. And I need to look at what we're doing practice-wise and rep-wise, because, you know, everything we do is down to the exact 1 rep of practice. We know exactly how many, and I'm thinking we need to cut it back because they're playing too many plays. And so we may have to cut our practices back even more. We're practicing, 15 minutes less than we have in the past. And I don't really like to change what I do, but what we do, but I think they're on the field too much. So we'll just have to wait and see.
You said Tuesday that JW was better than you thought. The diagnosis was better than you thought. Did it sneak up on you? Did it catch you by surprise?
Well, Monday I thought I said that. Monday they told me that about 11 o'clock, and I went over there, and that's what I get for saying it. And then because it ended up not being the injury they thought, and then they came back and he was going to be out for a while, and so I can't ever tell anymore. It's hard. You get MRIs, you get CAT scans, and I don't know. So, but anyway, they've got him in position that he's moving along and could be back in 6 weeks or whatever. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
With the surgery, was it having him on the sideline just too risky tonight? He was removed.
Yeah, Jenny, we don't players that have a lower body injury, we don't put them down there because it's like arena ball down there at our place. They're on a crutch and they're moving, and all of a sudden people are pushing their back and they get rolled up. So it's pretty common for that. Plus, he wanted to be up here where he could watch the game and see it from a quarterback's point of view. Good. All right.
When's